Got some toilet paper to wrap the body of the microphone in. Keep it. So I have a feeling it's going to start precipitating here a lot better. If I can get the toilet paper to soak up the majority of the moisture, I'll be good. This stuff gets expensive when you start annihilating it non-stop, right? Now, let's get right into this. What do we got? What do we got? We got a lot. We have a lot. It doesn't stop coming in. Oops. It doesn't stop coming in. Now, I'm going to try to not babble. I'm going to try to get straight into this. Okay, you ready? Oh, mark this as red. Again, so nobody pulled snap sandwich on my ass. What I seen blew my mind. No one believes me. All right. I'll bet you somebody here has had your same experience. We're going to find out. Good morning, Steve. First of all, I want to thank you for what you're doing. For all the honest, hardworking people out there that need a voice. So sorry for your passing macaroni. He was beautiful. Thank you for the kind words. Appreciate that. Please just say my first name, which is Ann. I live in a very small town, somewhat close to the Mississippi and Ohio River in Kentucky. Now, this area is rural, with some houses around. As I type this, I'm sitting here watching your latest video. I never had an earning to see one of the things. Like many others, I've watched a couple shows out of curiosity. I have an open mind. I know we're not the only ones here. I knew that before I had my experience. I was driving down the main highway. Looked to my left, out in this clearing where cows usually graze, but this time I didn't see any cows grazing. It was two of the biggest things I've ever seen with long hair. Both were black. One was taller than the other, and they were walking toward the highway to the woods that was probably several hundred feet from where they were. I couldn't stop because I was on a main highway, so I shook my head and drove on. In that same spot, I had another encounter a few weeks later. Holy shit. I was driving the same direction, looked in the fields I was driving, and there it was standing there. I first thought, you nut, that is the ass end of a big black bull you're seeing. Then I realized it wasn't a big bull's butt I was seeing. It was too tall, black, massive shoulder size. That is when I realized it wasn't a cow. There's always feed there for the cows. Not sure if that's what they were doing or if that was just one of their trails they use. On the other side of the highway is woods and swamp area. This is twice I've seen these huge things in the same area. I had said something to my oldest granddaughter, and before I could get it out, she said, "Nanny, you saw a Sasquatch?" I told her, "Yes, baby, I did. I can't get this out of my head. I've tried, it just won't leave. It's almost like I'm being drawn to get more information." I watched one of your videos where people say they can hear others talking, but can't make out what they're saying. But they hear a lot of chatter. Oh my gosh, Steve, let me tell you something. It is like, oh crap, I ain't crazy. I've been hearing stuff like that for years, but brushed it off as being tired, or my mind playing tricks on me. I want to thank you again for what you're doing here. I listen to you every post you make. I love your no crap attitude as well. Keep up the awesome work, and God bless to you and yours, Ann. And thanks for that share. And you know you're not alone. You know you're not alone, and you're unfortunately, possibly, unfortunately, now a member of the Club of No Return. How's it feel? Right? It's not the most fun club to be a member of at the best of times, is it? But it is what it is. We're here, and there's no way out of it. Anyway, your experience tends to make me. The first thought I had when I read that, when you seen it the second time standing there, was there is a possibility that some of us possibly. How can I explain this? Possibly we're living on just a slight different vibration than the majority of the human population, and some people tend to see these things more clearly more often than others, right? Some people just may be that much more in tune. I'm saying that possibly might be you. So prepare yourself for the future, and don't be surprised if it happens again. All right? I mean, if it happened 2 times just as clear as day in the same spot for you like that, it's coming again. It's coming. And be prepared for it. Maybe even bring a camera. Try to videotape it. You never know, right? If you can stay calm enough long enough to do it. It doesn't seem to be a typical easy task. I've tried it, and one time I had something go down, it scared the living crap out of me, and I didn't even think about the camera that I had on the tripod beside me, or the rifle I had laying at my feet in the grass hidden. It was absolutely, I was absolutely terrified. So, but you never know. Keep a video camera at hand when you're going by that spot again. Maybe even, I know what I would do. If I had it happening that common in the same spot, I would probably have a camera like the one I do have right here. So this one's a Sony Handycam HD AX100 and something. I don't know, whatever. Maybe I'll post it up in the description later. But I would probably have a small tripod on the passenger seat pointing out that window, and I would probably hit record, you know, a few minutes before I get to that point in the highway, and I'd just record every single time I drove by there. I'd hit record regardless, and if it didn't happen, I'd erase the SD card and start again another time. You never know, right? You never know. I don't know if anybody tries that or not. Anyway, hopefully this wind isn't hammering me. It just keeps coming and going. It's a typical spring weather, right? Gusts, sun, showers, little mini blizzards, everything. It's just not consistent yet. It's not warm enough. But looking at the microphone, it's not too bad right now, so let's keep going. Illuminated white eyes in Ohio Valley / flying and dropping rocks. Here comes my helicopter. Hey Steve, long time listener. I'll try to be brief but concise. I just listened to the stories from the Sasquatch shot dead by 2 military personnel in Fort Lewis video, and I'm compelled to report these 2 events to you and the roundtable community as I see similarities. Please use my name if you choose to read these, although you can have it for your records. Regarding a story from Mr. Bell in Kentucky, during which a creature with illuminated white eyes spoke to him telepathically, the location of the story is in the same river valley that my stories take place in. I work in a huge natural gas processing plant that is smack in the middle of rural West Virginia, surrounded by hills. Hold on, this is a big gust coming. It's going to blow this thing right off. Whoa. Son of a bitch. All right, enough wind. Come on. You can see it on the microphone. It's hammering on the microphone. All right, there it goes. Surrounded by huge hills that are very heavily wooded. It's almost like the plants are sitting in a bowl with high ground all around. One evening, a coworker was on the backside of the facility doing some work in a dimly lit section which butted against a steep hillside and up to the tree line. This is the most remote part of the plant. He said to me that everything was routing until all of a sudden he felt anxious, uncomfortable, and like he should leave the area. He wasn't sure why, but he looked up the hillside and he could make out a large shadowy figure in the tree line, maybe 50 to 60 yards away from him, with its hand holding onto a tree branch. Its eyes were illuminated from within, striking white light. He referred to them as headlight eyes, and they were looking directly at him. He froze up and stared back for a minute or so, and then was able to flee to his truck and leave the area. He calmed himself down as much as he could by rationalizing and writing it off as an illusion, and started back to the area to get his tools and finish the work. To his surprise, the thing was still there. Same place, same eyes. This time he didn't even get out of the truck. He just left the area. When he came back 15 to 20 minutes later, it was gone. No telepathically transmitted messages or contact was made aside from the obvious. The second encounter was roughly a week before the white eyes encounter, and also at night. A different coworker reported via radio that something large, as large as a hang glider, but silent and with no flapping or means of propulsion, was following him around the plant. He was alerted to its presence by having a potato-sized rock land and a thud directly beside him, scaring him. The rest of us went to the front door of the control room and witnessed this thing flying low in the plant. We have no fly rules over the facility, and there would be no drone work at night. He saw wings, but the body area was dark. He also said that he could tell it was watching him and following him, even though he didn't see any eyes. Maybe some sort of premonition. It flew/hovered off towards the tree line, where white eyes was seen a week later, peering into the plant. Were these related? Who knows? But it's almost too much coincidence to ignore. Thanks for reading. Holy shit. You know what? What I would be curious, to see would be if you could possibly, or one of your buddies that's seen this thing, possibly sketch it out for us. Why don't you see if you get an accurate sketch of what you saw and then email it to me. All right? And maybe title the email as requested or so, whatever. Just email it to me. I'll find it. I'll find it eventually. That's one hell of a sighting, man. That's one hell of an experience. And how the hell do these things light their eye sockets up? I don't give a shit what color it is. Purple, pink, red, white, green, everything. You know, what is it? Predominantly it's been red, greenish blue. And now a handful of people have reported the extremely bright lights. Extremely bright white light coming out of their frickin' eye sockets. That's no monkey that ruts and eats bananas, I'll tell you what. All right. There we go, everything's wrapped up, waterproof. Keep this ball rolling. Then I'm gonna go show you guys another view from somewhere. And I'm gonna look around, see if I can complete what I'm trying to get done for me today. So many emails. So many emails. All right, here we go. Aussie, Yowie, summary. Known indigenous beliefs / thoughts. All right, here we go. No first-hand accounts of this detail. Summary of how things appear in Australia. Similar there as here as to sightings and encounters. Indigenous reluctant to talk about subject with white man, but saying they're very ancient tribes that predate the black man in Australia, and they used to fight each other a long, long time ago. Many tales out of Australia. A friend who moved there last summer knows my interest and fires things at me. Point form, here we go. Their most common name, fairly modern source, is Yowie. Modern accounts include a man claiming to have known some over years and taught one particularly curious one a few English words. Most modern and most pre-colonial accounts are on the east coast of their hinterlands, forests, and ample water. Most of the eastern half of Australia's indigenous tribes, peoples living in their traditional territory, have a name for them in their people's language. Only some of the western indigenous peoples have a name for them in their people's language. Only some, actually 100% of the western indigenous people up here have a name for them. Oh, sorry. You're talking about Australia. My bad. The distinction / division seems very much east and west, not north and south, nor more regional pockets. It seems not an exhaustive analysis. Many peoples have a taboo time of day, night, or season when you just don't talk about them. Not at night, as that is when they may hear you talking about them, which apparently they don't like. Seasonal or sub-seasonal reasons are unclear. Australia has their researchers that are making money off researching. The usual mix of those with open minds versus looking to confirm ape man, most popular researcher, to confirm spirit being, whatever the bias is. Some seem to have managed at least the appearance of credibility and wanting to be evidence-based, unlike the majority here in North America. Indigenous accounts have the Yowie as a wild man, not a beast, with a few accounts attributing them as paranormal / spirit beings. Indigenous and white accounts on attributes of wild man versus paranormal / spirit seems pretty much the same mix as we see here in North America, except way less on the lights and orbs. Also, same height variations, same foot size variations, but more accounts with variable number of toes. Most common to least common, 4, 5, 4, 3, and 6 toes. Also some red eye accounts, which also have the bad correlation we seem to have here in North America. A much greater percentage of accounts of lighter toned hair, red hair, shorter hair, bare faces, and somewhat less full bodies, which makes sense given the heat there. Although my friend was astounded to discover his ski pass for various places in North America was also good for a ski hill in Australia. Never knew they had any. Less vocal, but when they are, this seems to have a greater effect. Tree knocking is reported less. Thrashing of trees and brush common, often immediately following a sighting. Some described as 4 foot, but their behavior and reaction at being seen match the accounts in North America that people describe as believing to be juveniles. In Australia, people don't seem to make the step to judge / ponder / speculate / conclude that they're juveniles. With most sightings or encounters by whites, it usually falls as either Yowie / Bigfoot or what the F was that? Like a good portion of people refuse to consider or acknowledge Yowie / Bigfoot. Most indigenous accounts have the same mix of the character of sightings / encounters as we see in North America. Some good encounters versus most bad encounters, describing anger, hate, rage, disgust directed at humans, along with throwing rocks or sticks, threatening behavior. That mix remaining largely the same for modern historical or pre-colonial accounts, except they have notable collection of historical / pre-colonial accounts of hugely severe bad encounters. Some accounts that Yowies used to attack, rape, and hunt and eat people. Note the huge and hot, dry areas where it's difficult to hunt or forage or survive. For the indigenous, an encounter is not recorded as something you want to have. If you have an encounter, you'd better be respectful. For some white people, you can pay to go along with researchers helping research for them. Said that indigenous have great reluctance to discuss this with white men. There's often white men mixing up indigenous Yowie accounts as indigenous mythological beasts or spirits, which they regard as very important, if not sacred, part of their religion. Religion or beliefs, right? Many indigenous are said to explain Yowies as tribes. Not tribe, but tribes of very ancient people largely died out. Note, indigenous describe their groupings translated into English as peoples, i.e. Fraser Island is the traditional land, traditional country of the Butchula people, whereas they describe Yowies historically as tribes, with no modern reference to tribes existing as Yowie communities. This is not extensive, let alone exhaustive. They don't like to talk about the subject. Some indigenous say that the black man, Australian indigenous, came from the Yowie. I've not heard a medical scientific DNA explanation of what they mean by came from. Some indigenous, which regard themselves as very old on / of the land, have said that. The Yowie tribes predate man, speak a very old language, and the Yowie tribes and man used to fight a long time ago. Man was slowly succeeding at killing them off, but not as fast as they would have liked, due to their ability to run away at great speed when a fight turned against them. I have a really hard time imagining man winning, but given numbers, breeding rates based on size and foot requirements, hunting / fighting tools, etc., I guess it's possible. Note, indigenous physical sites older than 30,000 years. Oral history demonstrates the continuity of culture of indigenous Australians for at least 10,000 years. This is shown by correlation of oral history stories with verifiable incidents, including known changes in sea levels and their associated large changes in location of ocean shorelines, oral records of megafauna, and comets. All right. And there we go. There's a summary of the Australian Yowie from obviously somebody who's quite interested. And thank you for the time it took for you to send that in to us. It's funny, I've read a handful of books, not about the Australian Yowie, but I've read about the native people of the land there. And you know what? It's alarming as it may sound, but it wasn't that long ago. There was actually a frickin' bounty on those people by the non-indigenous people not that long ago. Isn't that creepier than shit? Isn't that crazy? There's a bounty on Aboriginals of Australia as though they're a simple frickin' jackrabbit. Ugh, it just makes you cringe in shame and hang your head in shame. Doesn't it when we speak openly about the facts of what some of the ancestors of various places did to the people around the globe. But I mean, let's face it, it doesn't matter what color you are, what continent you came from, humans have been doing nasty ass shit to each other since time began and still today. Isn't it sad? Isn't it weird? Isn't it weird that humans are such a violent, messed up species? It's just so weird. But at the same time, thankfully, the majority of the human population is actually quite compassionate and kind and care for each other. But humans don't really talk about the good as often as they like to talk about the bad, though, right? Unfortunately, that's kind of odd too. Anyway, Such a crazy world, man. But anyway, thanks for sending that over to us, all right? Thanks for sharing that with everybody. And I'm quite certain because you addressed this Australian Yowie directly, we're going to get a flood of emails from Australia any day now. You watch. Everybody's going to be chiming in, which is well welcome. Give her. Let her rip. My strangest 4 days. All right. Dear Steve, no Sasquatch stories here, but holy shit, how weird can things get? In 2011, my ex-wife and I went to visit a toddler granddaughter at her other grandparents outside. All right. What do we got? All right, let me mark this as red. Again, to keep me safe from all of you. Just kidding. Hi Steve, please be careful out there. My name is Bonnie Fox. I'm a horticulturist and I was born and raised in Connecticut. I'm 59 now. When I was a child, my favorite things to do were, and still are, exploring the woods, camping and fishing. I've watched your channel every day since I tripped over it while surfing YouTube in October 2020. I've written to you on 2 other occasions, so I guess I got lost among the many emails. Yeah, that sucks. Well, shit. I wish I read this far into your email because I would have searched your name in the inbox and grabbed them. Hopefully I'll remember to do that when I get back. My encounter was through watching you. Yes, you. I was watching an episode entitled, I Don't Know What It Is, but He Took a Pic Too. When you're reading, and all of a sudden I saw a rock that was thrown. It ricocheted off of a tree behind you on the left side of the screen and landed near you just after you say, why? Look at the tree that has a black spot on the trunk. It's hard to tell on TV, but it looks like a cedar. Then I kept hearing rocks landing all around you. I don't know how you didn't hear them land as you read and talked. Huh. Oh, okay, thanks, Bonnie. Hold on a minute. What do we got here? Now I got another email attached. That's May 20. Okay, I got another one here. From you. And no, I'm not aware of the rocks, okay? I'm going all over the map here. I'm sorry. I'll get it straightened out here right now. But I don't recall rocks hitting around me, but both my ears are ringing like frickin' doorbells right now as we speak, 24/7, from me nearly being shot in the head while guiding, right? Unfortunately, a couple times now. So I do miss a lot, but I also do pick up a lot. And this is continued from you. I'm very, very sorry to hear that Mr. Macaroni crossed the Rainbow Bridge. They go through so much with us that they are best friends and children all in one. I lived in a very active haunted house for 9 years, and I can tell you with confidence that you will meet again when your ticket comes up and you'll begin your next journey. Yeah, I'm confident I'm going to see that crazy horse again. He is my blood brother. I know it sounds funny to a lot of you non-horse people, but I can't explain it. It just is what it is. I've experienced and learned a lot from Ed and Lorraine Warren and team. They worked our case. My time living there and the parallels between spirit world and Sabe, portals, orbs, water, granite, and more for another time. Please be careful out there. And then it looks like you start another sentence, but it stopped. So I didn't get all of your email in here. But I guess I got enough to share, didn't I? So thank you very much for saying it, and thanks for your concern, and thanks for your kind words about my horse too. I really appreciate that.